Hello there, my dear friends. First of all, thank you for being here with me today. If you're watching this, I want you to know that you've already made a wonderful choice for yourself, choosing growth, wisdom, and peace. It's not always easy to pause and reflect on our lives, but it's such an important step in finding joy and meaning, especially in this beautiful phase of life. Life has a funny way of teaching us lessons, doesn't it? Over the years, we've all faced challenges, made mistakes, and hopefully learned from them. And as we grow older, those lessons start to take on a new depth. We realize what truly matters: relationships, inner peace, and living a life that feels good in our hearts. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. This video is for anyone who's ready to embrace the wisdom that comes with age. It's for those of you who want to find more peace in your relationships, protect your well-being, and create a life filled with kindness, understanding, and strength. We'll explore some simple yet profound truths about how we can live better, not by changing everything around us, but by changing how we respond to the world. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when a new video drops. Your support truly makes a difference. If you found value in this video, a like and share would mean a lot in helping me reach more people with these important lessons. And I'd love to hear from you. If you're enjoying this topic, leave a 1 in the comments, or a 0 if you'd like to see something different. Your feedback helps me improve and bring you the content you want. Now, let's begin this journey together. We'll talk about 9 key points today, and each one has the power to transform your relationships, your peace of mind, and your outlook on life. These aren't just ideas. They're tools you can use every day to create a more meaningful, harmonious life. Point 1. Guarding trust, respecting the sacred space of privacy. How would you feel if someone you trusted deeply shared one of your personal secrets without your permission? It stings, doesn't it? That sense of betrayal cuts deeply because trust is one of the most delicate yet powerful bonds we share with others. And here's the truth. In our golden years, trust becomes even more precious. It's what allows us to build meaningful connections and feel safe in our relationships. One of the simplest ways to honor the trust of others is by keeping their private matters just that, private. When someone confides in you, they're not just sharing words. They're giving you a piece of their heart, wrapped in vulnerability and hope. Protecting that confidence isn't just an act of respect, it's an act of love. It says, I value you, and I won't betray the bond we share. You see, trust is a bit like a fragile piece of glass. Once it's cracked, it's almost impossible to repair fully. Even if the pieces are glued back together, the cracks remain visible. When we gossip or share private matters that aren't ours to share, we risk shattering that glass forever. And at this stage of life, where every moment with loved ones is so precious, who wants to carry the weight of broken trust? I've seen relationships fall apart simply because someone spoke out of turn. And I've also witnessed the quiet beauty of relationships that thrive because both people respect each other's boundaries. There's a certain peace in knowing that the people around you cherish your trust as much as you cherish theirs. Don't you agree? Keeping someone's confidence doesn't just benefit them, it benefits you too. It helps you cultivate an environment of mutual respect where you don't have to worry about misunderstandings or drama. Imagine how much lighter and freer life feels when you're surrounded by people who know they can count on you and whom you can count on in return. Here's an idea. Take a moment to think about the people in your life who trust you. Have you done everything you can to protect their confidence? Or is there someone whose trust you might need to repair? If so, it's never too late to apologize and make things right. Trust me, the peace that comes from mending a broken bond is worth every effort. Have you ever been in a situation where your trust was betrayed? How did it make you feel? Or, on the flip side, have you ever had someone thank you for keeping their confidence? Share your story in the comments. I believe your experiences can inspire others to reflect on their own actions. As we move forward, remember this. Guarding someone's trust isn't just about keeping secrets. It's about showing them that you value their feelings, their dignity, and their story. And in doing so, you're not just building stronger relationships, you're building a stronger, more compassionate version of yourself. Point 2. Avoiding harsh words and anger, the power of choosing silence. Have you ever said something in anger that you wish you could take back? I know I have. And the regret that follows can linger like a heavy stone in the heart. Words spoken in the heat of the moment may provide a fleeting sense of release, but they often leave behind scars that take much longer to heal, if they heal at all. Anger is a powerful emotion, isn't it? It's like a storm that builds inside us, pushing us to say things we don't truly mean. And yet, as strong as anger feels in the moment, it's also fleeting. The storm eventually passes, but the damage it causes can remain. That's why one of the greatest acts of wisdom is choosing silence in those moments of rage. Silence isn't weakness. In fact, it takes incredible strength to hold your tongue when every fiber of your being wants to lash out. But this choice, to pause instead of reacting, can be the difference between a relationship that grows stronger and one that begins to unravel. Let me share a little insight with you. When we remain silent in anger, we give ourselves the gift of time. Time to breathe, time to reflect, and time to let reason and compassion take the place of hurt and frustration. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but about channeling them in a way that doesn't harm others or yourself. I'll be honest with you, my friends. This lesson is easier said than done. I've had moments where I let my anger get the best of me, and the words that spilled out caused pain I couldn't undo. But I've also experienced the quiet strength that comes from restraint. In those moments, I've seen how silence can preserve harmony, even in the midst of conflict. The next time you feel anger rising within you, try this simple exercise. Take a deep breath, count to 10, and ask yourself, is this worth saying? Will it hurt more than it helps? This pause, this tiny moment of reflection, can make all the difference. And let's not forget that anger isn't just about what we say to others. Sometimes, it's about what we say to ourselves. Harsh, critical thoughts can take root in our minds and eat away at our peace. Learning to silence those inner voices of negativity is just as important as choosing silence in our interactions with others. Have you ever managed to stay silent in a moment of anger? How did it feel afterward? Or, have you experienced the consequences of saying something you didn't mean? Share your story in the comments. I think we can all learn from each other's experiences. Let me leave you with this thought. Anger is temporary, but words are permanent. By choosing silence, you're not only protecting those around you, you're protecting yourself from the guilt and regret that often follow an angry outburst. You're choosing peace over conflict, love over hurt, and wisdom over impulse. Point 3. Practicing non-judgment, the beauty of understanding. How often do we form opinions about others based on just a fleeting moment or a single action? It's almost second nature, isn't it? But here's the truth. When we judge others too quickly, we not only risk hurting them, but we also rob ourselves of the chance to truly understand and connect. Life is a complex journey, and everyone you meet is carrying something you cannot see. Maybe it's a burden, a regret, or a quiet struggle they're too afraid to share. Judging someone based on a snapshot of their life is like reading a single page of a book and assuming you know the entire story. And yet, how often do we do this without even realizing it? Let me share a story with you that illustrates this beautifully. There was once a doctor who rushed to the hospital for an emergency surgery. The boy on the operating table was critically ill, and time was of the essence. But as the doctor arrived, the boy's father lashed out in anger, accusing him of being late and uncaring. The father's pain and fear had blinded him to the possibility that the doctor might have his own struggles. After saving the boy's life, the doctor quietly left, only for the father to learn later that the doctor had just buried his own son that morning. Isn't it incredible how a single revelation can shift our entire perspective? This story reminds us that everyone has unseen battles. The father's anger was understandable, but his judgment was misplaced. And the doctor's composure wasn't indifference. It was a remarkable act of selflessness. When we judge others, we often project our fears, insecurities, or expectations onto them. But when we choose to pause, to withhold judgment, and to offer understanding instead, something magical happens. We open the door to compassion and connection. We create space for patience and grace. The next time you feel tempted to judge someone, I encourage you to pause and ask yourself, what might this person be going through? What don't I know about their story? This small shift in perspective can turn frustration into empathy and irritation into kindness. Have you ever been judged unfairly? How did it make you feel? Or, Have you ever caught yourself judging someone only to realize later that you didn't know the full story? Share your experiences in the comments. I believe your reflections could inspire others to think more deeply before they judge. As we grow older, we have the opportunity to become gentler in our approach to life. We realize that people aren't perfect, and neither are we. By practicing non-judgment, we not only improve our relationships, but also lighten the emotional weight we carry. Judgment often stems from a need to control or understand, but letting go of that need brings peace. Let this be a reminder. The next time you see someone acting in a way you don't understand, try offering them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're doing their best with what they have. Maybe they're navigating challenges you can't see. And maybe, just maybe, your kindness will be the very thing they need to keep going. Point 4. Speaking with kindness, the power of words to heal. Do you remember a time when someone's kind words made your day? Maybe it was a simple compliment, a heartfelt thank you, or an unexpected word of encouragement. Those moments stay with us, don't they? That's because words, though small, carry immense power. They can uplift and heal or hurt and destroy. In our lives, we've all been on both sides of the coin. We've felt the warmth of kind words and the sting of harsh ones. And as we grow older, we come to realize just how important it is to choose our words carefully. A kind word doesn't cost a thing, but it has the power to change someone's world, even if just for a moment. Here's the thing about words. Once spoken, they can't be taken back. They leave a mark, good or bad. That's why, especially in moments of frustration or disagreement, it's so important to pause and think before we speak. Ask yourself, will these words build a bridge or burn one? Will they bring peace or create tension? There's an old saying, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Isn't that so true? Speaking with kindness doesn't mean you agree with everything or avoid tough conversations. It means you handle them with care and respect, ensuring that your words don't cause unnecessary harm. I want to share a little insight with you. Speaking with kindness doesn't just benefit the person you're speaking to, it also transforms you. It nurtures a sense of calm and compassion within, making your relationships more harmonious and your life more peaceful. Over time, this habit of kind speech becomes second nature, and you'll notice how much more positive your interactions feel. Let me challenge you to do something today. Think about someone in your life, a family member, a friend, or even a neighbor. Take a moment to share a kind word with them. It could be as simple as "I appreciate you," or "You've been such a great friend." Notice how it makes them feel, and how it makes you feel. You might be surprised at the joy it brings. And while we're talking about kindness, let's take a moment to reflect. Have you ever received kind words at a time when you really needed them? Or have you ever regretted saying something unkind? Share your story in the comments. I believe that reflecting on these moments helps us all become more mindful of our words. As we grow older, we have the incredible opportunity to leave a legacy, not just of memories, but of kindness. People may not always remember what we said, but they will always remember how we made them feel. That's the power of speaking with kindness. It leaves a lasting impact, not just on others, but on our own hearts as well. So, the next time you speak, let your words be a reflection of the person you aspire to be. Speak with gentleness, with care, and with the intention to uplift. In doing so, you're not just communicating, you're creating connections that stand the test of time. Point 5. Avoiding superficial judgments, seeing beyond appearances. How often do we judge people based on what we see on the surface? Maybe it's their financial status, their family background, or their outward behavior. It's so easy to fall into this trap, isn't it? But the truth is, appearances rarely tell the whole story. None of us had a choice in the circumstances we were born into. Whether someone grew up with wealth or struggled to make ends meet, those beginnings don't define their character or their worth. What truly matters is how they live their life, their kindness, integrity, and how they treat others. Take a moment to think about this. Have you ever met someone who didn't have much, yet they were the kindest, most generous person you knew? Or maybe you've met someone who seemed to have it all, yet their heart was closed off and unkind. These experiences remind us that wealth, privilege, or hardship don't define a person's value. Character does. Money and status come and go, but a person's spirit, that inner wealth of kindness, humility, and compassion endures. Life has a way of humbling all of us. The person who stands tall today may face struggles tomorrow, and those who struggle now may rise to incredible heights in the future. That's why judging someone based on their current circumstances is not only unfair, it's short-sighted. Instead of making assumptions about someone's life, what if we chose curiosity and compassion? What if we asked ourselves, what can I learn from this person's journey? When we approach others with an open heart and an open mind, we create opportunities for connection and understanding that can enrich our own lives. Now, I'd like to hear your perspective. Have you ever misjudged someone based on their appearance or background, only to realize later that you were wrong? Or has someone judged you unfairly without knowing your story? Share your experiences in the comments. I believe these reflections can help us all grow in empathy and understanding. When we stop judging others superficially, we free ourselves from the weight of unnecessary negativity. We also begin to see people for who they truly are, not who we assume them to be. This shift in perspective brings a sense of peace and a deeper appreciation for the richness of human experiences. Here's a thought to carry with you. Every person you meet is like a book. Some have shiny, polished covers, while others might look worn and tattered. But until you take the time to open the pages and read, you'll never know the depth of the story inside. Let's commit to being readers of people's stories rather than critics of their covers. So the next time you meet someone, resist the urge to judge them based on appearances. Instead, take a moment to get to know them. Ask about their experiences, listen to their stories, and let their actions show you who they are. In doing so, you're not just offering them respect, you're giving yourself the gift of a more open and compassionate heart. Point 6. Respecting knowledge and education. True wisdom knows no rank. How often do we measure a person's worth by their education, their job title, or the degrees they've earned? It's a common habit, isn't it? But here's the truth. While education is valuable, it's not the only measure of intelligence or wisdom. Life has a way of teaching us lessons that no classroom ever could. Every person has something unique to offer, regardless of their formal education. Some of the most profound wisdom I've encountered has come from unexpected sources: a child's innocent observation, a neighbor's story of resilience, or the quiet strength of someone who's faced life's hardships with grace. True wisdom comes not from titles or accolades, but from experience, compassion, and the willingness to learn from the world around us. Have you ever learned something life-changing from someone who didn't have a fancy degree? Maybe a family member, a friend, or even a stranger taught you a lesson that stayed with you forever. These moments remind us that knowledge is everywhere. It's in the way people live, the choices they make, and the kindness they show. On the other hand, when we belittle or dismiss someone based on their lack of formal education, we not only hurt them but also limit ourselves. We close the door to perspectives and insights that could expand our understanding of the world. And let's be honest, none of us know everything. Even the most educated among us can learn something new every day. I want to share a small reflection with you. In my own life, I've come to realize that the willingness to listen is far more valuable than the ability to speak eloquently. Listening opens the door to growth, while judging or dismissing shuts it. When we respect others for who they are, rather than what they've achieved on paper, we create space for true connection and mutual learning. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Has someone ever judged you unfairly because of your background or education? Or have you learned a valuable lesson from someone who didn't have formal schooling? Share your story in the comments. I think your experiences can remind others of the importance of valuing people for their humanity, not their credentials. Here's another thought to ponder. Humility is one of the hallmarks of true wisdom. People who are genuinely wise know that they don't know everything. They're open to learning, whether it's from a book, a conversation, or a quiet moment of reflection. They don't feel the need to prove their worth through boasting or comparisons because they understand that everyone's journey is different. So the next time you meet someone, resist the urge to judge their knowledge or background. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this person? Approach them with curiosity and respect, and you might be surprised at the richness of their experiences and insights. By doing so, you're not just honoring them, you're honoring the diversity and beauty of human wisdom. As we grow older, we have the privilege of sharing our knowledge and learning from others in return. Let's use that privilege wisely, creating a world where everyone feels valued, respected, and heard. Point 7. Embracing authenticity, the quiet strength of being real. How often do we feel the need to embellish our stories, exaggerate our achievements, or even pretend to be someone we're not, just to gain approval? It's a temptation many of us have faced. But here's the beautiful truth. The most admirable thing you can ever be is your authentic self. In today's world, where people often chase appearances and validation, being genuine stands out like a rare gem. When you speak honestly and live authentically, you don't just earn respect, you inspire it. Authenticity isn't about perfection. It's about owning your story, your journey, and the lessons you've learned along the way. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who didn't feel the need to boast or exaggerate? They carried themselves with quiet confidence, letting their actions and character speak for them. These are the people who leave a lasting impression, not because they were flashy, but because they were real. Authenticity has a power that no amount of pretense can match. On the flip side, boasting and exaggerating might bring temporary attention, but it often backfires in the long run. People see through it, and the trust and respect they had for you begin to fade. It's like wrapping yourself in a fragile cloak of illusion. Eventually, it tears, and the truth emerges. I want to share a little insight with you. The people who truly matter in your life, the ones who care about you deeply, don't need you to be anything other than yourself. They love you for who you are, not for the image you project. And isn't it freeing to know that you don't have to pretend or prove anything? You can simply be. Here's a challenge for you. Take a moment to reflect on your conversations and interactions. Are there times when you felt the urge to exaggerate or impress? How did it make you feel afterward? And, more importantly, how would it feel to let go of that pressure and just be your authentic self? Share your thoughts in the comments. I think many of us can relate to this struggle, and your story might resonate with someone else. As we age, there's a special kind of wisdom that comes with realizing that we don't need to chase anyone's approval. We start to see that our worth isn't tied to our achievements, possessions, or the opinions of others. Instead, it's rooted in the person we are, the values we hold, the kindness we show, and the connections we nurture. Authenticity also brings a deep sense of peace. When you're no longer trying to maintain a facade, you free yourself from the anxiety and exhaustion that come with it. You can focus on what truly matters, living a life that feels honest and meaningful. So, my dear friend, the next time you're tempted to exaggerate or boast, pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What am I trying to prove? Chances are, you'll realize that you don't need to prove anything at all. Your worth isn't in your words, it's in your heart and your actions. Let this be a reminder. The people who truly see you, who truly care for you, will always appreciate your authenticity. They'll cherish your realness because it allows them to be real, too. Together, you'll create relationships built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding, the kind that lasts a lifetime. Point 8. Letting go of the need for constant validation, living with integrity. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you felt the need to explain your sincerity to someone who just didn't understand? It can be frustrating, can't it? You pour your heart out, trying to prove your intentions, only to realize that no matter what you say, they're not willing to see your perspective. Here's an important truth, my friend. Not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. Life is too short to waste precious energy explaining yourself to people who are unwilling or unable to listen. Those who truly value you will see your sincerity through your actions, not your words. And for those who don't, no amount of explanation will ever be enough. This doesn't mean you should stop caring or trying to connect. It simply means learning to discern where your efforts will bear fruit and where they won't. There's immense power in letting go of the need to be understood by everyone. It frees you from unnecessary battles and allows you to focus on what truly matters, living with integrity and staying true to yourself. Let me share something with you. In my own life, I've learned that the most peaceful moments come when I stop trying to win the approval of others. Instead, I focus on doing what feels right in my heart. When you live with integrity, your actions speak louder than any explanation ever could. Over time, the truth has a way of shining through, even to those who doubted you. Here's a little exercise for you. Think about a time when you felt misunderstood. How did you handle it? Did you try to explain yourself, or did you let your actions do the talking? Reflect on how it felt and share your story in the comments. I believe these moments are some of the most defining in our lives, and your experiences can inspire others to approach misunderstandings with grace and strength. It's also worth remembering that misunderstanding is often more about the other person's perspective than your own actions. People view the world through the lens of their experiences, fears, and beliefs. Sometimes, no matter how pure your intentions, their lens won't allow them to see clearly. And that's not your burden to carry. By letting go of the need for constant validation, you reclaim your energy and focus. You stop chasing approval and start living authentically. You find peace in knowing that your worth isn't defined by what others think of you, but by how you choose to live your life. So, the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause and ask, is this really necessary? Will this bring peace, or will it drain me? If the answer is the latter, give yourself permission to step back. Silence, when chosen intentionally, is a powerful statement. It says, I know who I am, and I don't need your validation to feel whole. My dear friend, life becomes so much lighter when you stop trying to control how others perceive you. Instead, focus on staying true to your values, treating others with kindness, and nurturing the relationships that bring you joy. The right people will always see your sincerity without you needing to explain it. Point 9. Practicing self-reliance, the strength of independence. How often do we lean on others for things we could do ourselves? It's natural to ask for help occasionally. That's part of being human. But there's a fine line between seeking support when needed and relying too heavily on others. The more we practice self-reliance, the more empowered we feel, and the more respect we earn from those around us. In our younger years, we juggled responsibilities, worked hard, and cared for our families. Those experiences taught us resilience and resourcefulness. But as we age, it's easy to fall into the habit of depending on others, sometimes more than necessary. While there's no shame in asking for help, there's great pride and fulfillment in knowing you can still handle many things on your own. Self-reliance doesn't mean you have to do everything yourself, nor does it mean rejecting help when you genuinely need it. It's about finding the balance, knowing when to ask for assistance, and when to step up and manage things independently. This balance fosters a sense of accomplishment, boosts your confidence, and strengthens your relationships. Think about this. Have you ever accomplished something on your own that you didn't think you could? Maybe it was fixing something around the house, cooking a meal from scratch, or even solving a tricky problem. How did it make you feel? That sense of achievement is a gift we give ourselves when we embrace independence. Here's something to reflect on. Relationships thrive on mutual respect, and leaning on others too often can sometimes make them feel burdened or taken for granted. When you show others that you value their time and effort by handling what you can on your own, you strengthen those bonds. People are more willing to help when they know you don't take their support for granted. I'd love to hear your thoughts. When was the last time you surprised yourself by doing something independently? Or, have you ever felt overwhelmed because someone leaned on you too heavily? Share your story in the comments. I believe we can all learn from each other's experiences. Practicing self-reliance also sets an example for younger generations. When your children, grandchildren, or community members see you actively managing your life, it inspires them to do the same. It shows them that independence isn't about age, it's about attitude. At the same time, remember that practicing self-reliance doesn't mean isolating yourself. Connection and community are just as important as independence. The key is to approach your relationships with gratitude and reciprocity. When you do ask for help, let it be for things that genuinely require support, and always express your appreciation. So, here's a gentle challenge for you. Think about one thing you've been relying on others to do that you could try doing yourself. It doesn't have to be something big, just a small step toward greater independence. Maybe it's preparing a favorite meal, organizing your space, or learning a new skill. Give it a try and see how it feels. You might surprise yourself with what you can achieve. Thank you for staying with me through this journey. I'd love to hear your reflections. What point resonated with you the most? How will you bring these lessons into your daily life? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's continue this conversation of growth and wisdom together. My dear friend, as we come to the end of this journey together, I want to take a moment to thank you. Thank you for giving your time, your attention, and your heart to these lessons. It's a privilege to walk alongside you as we reflect on the wisdom we've gained through life's ups and downs. The golden years are often described as a time of rest, but I believe there's so much more than that. They're a time to embrace all that we've learned, to deepen our relationships, and to live with intention. Each of the points we've explored today, guarding trust, choosing kindness, letting go of anger, avoiding judgment, and more, are not just ideas. They're pathways to a more peaceful, meaningful life. Life is a precious gift, and every moment we have is an opportunity to grow, to love, and to leave behind a legacy of kindness and understanding. By practicing these lessons, you're not only enriching your own life, but also inspiring those around you, your family, your friends, and your community. As we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with one final thought. Your value is not defined by what you have, what you've done, or even what others think of you. Your value lies in your heart, your intentions, and the love you bring into the world. Never underestimate the power of your presence and the wisdom you have to share. Before we part, I'd love to hear from you one last time. Which point resonated with you the most? Is there a lesson you're excited to put into practice? Or is there something you'd like to add to this conversation? Share your thoughts in the comments. I believe your insights can inspire someone else to start their own journey of reflection and growth. And if you found this video meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support means so much to me, and it helps us continue building this community of kindness and wisdom. Let's keep growing together, one step at a time. Thank you for being here today. I'm so grateful for you, and I hope these lessons bring you as much peace and clarity as they've brought me. Until next time, take care of yourself, cherish the people you love, and keep embracing the beauty of life. I'll see you in the next video. Stay blessed and stay kind.